be told, I think that we all have talents, and most of us just need to find what we're really good at. For me, I would say that sports is the thing that I love most, and I suspect I'm attracted to it because I've been very successful. So yeah, for me, it's about physical things, and you know, I love sports, and once I've got a bit of success, you play some more, you get more successful, you train harder, and it's one of those virtuous circles. So yeah, I mean, I've got a bit of talent, and I was very fortunate to find the things that I was good at.
Could you ever treat those two imposters just the same?
You start.
Could you ever do that?
I think it's, to be honest, you know, success and failure. I think that as you get older and you become successful or not successful, I think what people should do and maybe try to do is to not worry so much about the outcome, because a lot of the time you don't have any control about what the outcome is going to be. But if you can enjoy the journey of getting from where you are today to where you want to be, then I think you get a lot more out of it, and don't worry about the outcome, because they'll take care of itself.
You went
philosophically.
Yeah, it's very philosophical. You went to boarding school.
I did go to boarding school.
Was there a teacher or somebody there who inspired you?
I wouldn't say so much it inspired me, but what I went to boarding school in a place called Daley, which is about 15 miles from Graham. And it wasn't so much an inspiration, but what they do, they let me grow. And because it was a really small boarding school, we never had more than about 90 kids there at any time. And I went there from when I was 7 till I was 16. And yeah, we just, the great thing about the school was that we played sport every day. So from 1 o'clock, from lunchtime until 4 o'clock, we just played sports. And to be honest, I got a love of that because my PE teacher, you know, wanted to enthuse us, and he did, and it worked for me.
Those great Germans, there were 5 of them. Can you remember their names? Can I remember their names?
Can you remember their names?
Guido Kretschmann was the older one. They had the great Jürgen Hinkson, about 6'10".
6'8".
Siggy Vens, who had some talent, Christian Schenk and Torsten Voss. Who was the best?
My biggest rival was a guy called Jürgen Hinkson, and him and I swapped world records 3 or 4 times, and we competed as men and boys. So from 17 I had my first competition with him, and the last one I was about 27, and we had 20 competitions in total, and he never beat me. But then the English always beat the Germans.
Half Scottish, aren't you? And the score last week was 3-0 to Wales. Oh, you lot laughing at him, you've lost as well. Jürgen Hinkson, yes, great competitor. I think he's been used to captain for 9 years. I think he took the world record back just prior to Los Angeles in 1984. And somebody suggested he was going to get the world record again and actually take the gold medal. And I believe he said something to the effect, the only way he's going to get that gold medal is to steal it from me.
Yeah, no, I did say that, but what we were talking about, they had this, they have like a Hello magazine in Germany. It's called Der Spiegel or something, and just the week before the Olympic Games and the decathlon was on, there was him on the front of the magazine, and he's painted in gold, and he's bollock naked.
You don't understand that term.
So you don't know, I feel like I'm half as much as you are. And yeah, and on the bottom it said our boys bringing home the gold. So yeah, so you're right.
So Athletics Weekly the following week you were silver.
You brought it up, Sean.
What was the greatest moment in sport?
The thing that I think that I was most proud of is the fact that I was undefeated for just under 10 years. Because I think that in sports, obviously, generally the favourites win. But, you know, lots of people can break the world records, and occasionally people can be lucky and win the Olympic champions and stuff. But what you can't do is be really, really good over a long time. So I was most proud of the fact that for nearly 10 years that I beat those German bastards. So,
I've got to ask you.
I love them all. Actually, no, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, when we was all competing together, it was very difficult to really like him and all that kind of stuff. I had a huge amount of respect for him. And because obviously the thing was, we was all chasing after the same thing. We was all after world records and we was all after gold medals. And obviously I was the only one that's ever going to win. But, you know, that's one of those things. But I would say that I respected all the people that I used to compete against. And proof of that is the fact that when I was competing, I was training 350 days a year, 5 or 6 hours a day. And if they had reduced us and stuff, obviously I would have done a lot less. But you know, I do as much as I can because, you know, even on Christmas Day we used to go.
So is that the real key to success? I mean, what can you tell these people about education, for example?
I think, you know, I think life is about taking opportunity. And I think it's about two things. I think it's about A, taking opportunity, and B, it's being able to cope with change. You know, you come here and they teach you lots of stuff, and then, you know, you go out into a different world and you have to be able to cope with change. And you hope that all the stuff that you've learned here is a good tool to use when you go out into either further education or into work and into other things. And not to be, you know, too kind of business-like, I've always, when I want to do something, I always look at a small little saying that I have. And that is, I always talk about the 3 Ps. And one is planning, so that's all about knowing where you are now, knowing where you want to go, and planning small steps to get where you want to go. Then it's about, the second P is preparation, and that is about doing all the things that you have to do to enable you to get to where you want to go. And the third P is called persistence. And that's just about, no matter what happens, you just keep on trying to achieve your goals. Because, to be honest, if you achieve your goals really easily, then they weren't really worth attempting. So most people have to kind of keep on knocking at the door until it happens.
It's great advice for you people.
Also, tell you about the 3 C's. 3 C's. And that is courage. And courage is really about being prepared to stand out in front of the crowd, because, you know, a lot of people don't want to be seen to be trying and don't want to be seen to be different. But I think that if you want to go on and be the best that you can be, what you have to do is have the courage to be able to say, you know what, I'm not going out tonight because I want to have a great day at work tomorrow. And you know, and you have to make a few sacrifices. The second C is commitment, and that is a promise that you make to yourself that this is something you really want to do and you're going to give it your best. And the third C is confidence. And I personally believe that confidence has to be built on solid foundations. And for me, the solid foundations are working hard and training and doing all the right things. But enough business speak.
I've got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer it. MB, OB, CB, you must have met the Queen. Did she mention your musical contribution once you were on the podium that time?
I think what my man is referring to is that once I won a competition, and when all the TV cameras were on and we were standing on the old rostrum and everything, and they were playing our national anthem, and I happened to whistle it at the end. And I was berated. In fact, the bloke that was doing the telecast is an old football commentator and a goalkeeper. His name is Bob Wilson. And he really berated me, and I got a really hard time in the telly and everything. And every year, up since then, I used to play in all these charity football matches. And every time I'd see Bob, I'd blank the year. Because he's so miserable. He's so miserable. Anyway, yes, but that's what he's talking about. And no, the Queen didn't mention it. And she didn't mention you either, so.
I'm surprised.
What's she thinking?
You enjoy football and play for Mansfield Town. Any regrets you can start playing football early in life?
Yes, funny enough, I started playing for Mansfield Town, but unfortunately, I didn't start until I was 40. I wish I'd done it when I was 35.